State lawmakers head into the stretch of a fiscally challenged 2009 legislative session with everything still unresolved. Agriculture Commissioner Charles Bronson might want to be governor, and Lieutenant Governor Jeff Kottkamp gets some big lawyerly help. All of that this week on Power Play with our guests, the bureau chiefs, Steve Bousquet of the St. Petersburg Times and Mike Vasilinda of Capitol News Service. We're in the stretch period. All they have to do constitutionally is pass a balanced budget, but that's no easy lift this year.
No, the Senate wants that cigarette tax increase very much. Strong bipartisan support for it. It's not going anywhere in the House, and the House is going to have to get off the dime and do something about that cigarette tax.
But I think the gambling's the other issue out there. The Senate is so far to the out on the edge, and the House is nowhere. And it's going to be interesting to see how they bring that together. I think the phone lines are burning up this weekend. That's what the Easter weekend has always been.
So is the political leadership more important than ever in a tough year like this? Because it's no fun to serve in the legislature in these difficult times.
No, you know what? This session has been marked by a lot of acrimony. Those incidents in the House where the committee chairman, both from Miami-Dade, went after Speaker Larry Creedle, had a fight in the committee that day over legislators cutting their salaries. It's tense. It's a tense place. And the stimulus money, Ron, doesn't fill the budget hole all by itself. They've got to find new revenue.
Okay, but what about the cigarette tax, the purchase of the Everglades land by that U.S. Sugar owns? All of those issues still unresolved.
Well, and it's going to be that way until probably week after next. I mean, what's going to happen this weekend is there's some sanity going to set in. The top leadership is going to be talking to each other, and they're going to figure out where is the middle ground.
We had a political surprise this week. Agriculture Commissioner Charles Bronson, who's term limited next year in 2010, says if Governor Chris goes for the U.S. Senate, he may run for governor.
It's interesting. People may sell the guy short, but he's got that Opie factor working for him with the name Charles Bronson. It sticks in the public mind in a way they don't even realize because of the sharing the name with a famous actor.
Yeah, but the movie actor's been dead for a lot of years.
He has, but the name sticks around. I mean, and Bronson obviously has to build a base way beyond ag. This isn't about the Possum Festival when you run for governor.
Well, but other than seeing his name on gas pumps, because as Consumer Affairs, he's got to inspect them, outside of the ag sphere of influence, nobody really knows him, notwithstanding the celebrity namesake.
Well, he could maybe raise that profile, but what I think is interesting is all the dominoes that are going to fall with three potential cabinet seats running. Who's going to run for Attorney General if McCollum runs for governor? Who's going to run for CFO?
He runs as a native Floridian who's pro Second Amendment rights. He's pro private property rights. He's pro lower taxes. And he creates a big problem for Bill McCollum in a Republican primary.
And also, I think Kottkamp is out of that race now.
In these tough fiscal times, the travel of state officials scrutinized much more heavily than in years past of the last two governors preceding Governor Chris. But Lieutenant Governor Kottkamp is in a pile of trouble, publicity-wise, if nothing else. Maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, this kind of controversy doesn't happen, but he's brought in some high-powered legal help this week.
Yeah, it's this whole situation was totally unnecessary. It's a manufactured problem that in an age when, I think there's a tight money situation, but also I think you have this at work here. You have a slightly diminished press corps that feels as though it's got to dig and maybe it'll dig a little bit more than perhaps in past years, and they're scrutinizing these travel bills much more closely, and Kottkamp really felt the pain here.
But a former Chief Justice, a former Attorney General now representing him, an Ethics Commission cloud may be blown away by that strong representation.
Well, certainly they will find every angle they can to say there's nothing that went wrong here. What surprises me is that the Christ PR machine allowed this to happen at all and get this far out on a limb.
All right, guys, let's go to your respective power plays of the week.
Senate Democratic leader Al Lawson of Tallahassee. First, he tries to weaken the gift ban law, which none of his colleagues would touch. And now this week, he tries to take out of the budget a proposal to cut legislators' salaries. They're trying to feel the pain of their constituents. Lawson took on Senator Mike Vasilinda and lost.
Governor's press office were on Monday putting out the weekly schedule, and a la Jeff Kottkamp's schedule, he's participating by phone in several meetings, but they're not saying where he was. Was he in Tallahassee, or was he at his Edison Community College office, or where was he?
Well, my view is when you're governor, lieutenant governor, you're always governor, lieutenant governor, no matter where you are. I'll invoke the host privilege. Safety Review comes up as the top political site in Florida, according to the Washington Post. The Buzz blog and Naked Politics of the St. Pete Times and the Herald also there. Steve Bousquet, Mike Vasilinda, thank you very much. For the latest political news, go to the Safety Review, and we'll see you next time on Power Play.